Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Season 2 of Tales from the Tackle Zone. This is a series that's dedicated to Blood Bowl battle reports, and this is battle report number 32. It is a game that is fought between my friend Senior Chang as well as King Khalifa. Senior Chang is bringing the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, which is his Lizardman team, while my friend King Khalifa will be playing the Bogenhafen Barons of the Imperial Nobility for his team on this one. So this is game number 32. This is the New World Conference Championship game. Whoever ends up winning this game will move on to the Blood Bowl to face against the Shambling Undead, the Champions of Death, in Battle Report number 33 to finally determine once and for all who is champion of the league for Season 2. So it's a pretty high-amped game. Both teams are actually relatively close together. Both have records of 3-2 apiece. There's only, I think only 80 points of difference between both teams in terms of team value as well. Both of them have full rosters as well as 3 rerolls apiece. So it should be a very interesting game to see exactly what ends up happening with these guys. So with that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will show you videos of both teams as well as photos of their rosters. If you want to see exactly what they're bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your leisure. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. So we are now back for the first half of the game at the kickoff. As you can see, we're now in O'Reilly Hall, and O'Reilly Hall looks much different as you guys can see from the terrain. And the reason why is because we have these beautiful elevated platforms that Iron Major has made for us in our gaming group. As you can see, they're beautiful cobblestone risers that we could use, and we're actually using these for games in Mordheim. And yes, Mordheim Battle Ports will be returning to this channel very shortly. In fact, after we get done wrapping up this series, the season 2 of Blood Bowl, we're actually going to be doing Mordheim Battle Reports. So we got that going on for the double-decker look going on with the fans and the audiences staring at the game. It looks like it just works really well for Blood Bowl as well. Anyway, so enough gushing about the terrain. By the way, Iron Major made all of the terrain that you see here on this table, so man is a genius. But for the kickoff, we're talking about that. So because of that, we go for the coin toss. The Lizardmen actually lose the coin toss. So because of that, my friend King Khalifa elects to receive the ball for the first half of the game. So the ball is kicked off. It lands over here, just 1 square away from this thrower. And for the first time ever, we got Get the Ref. Well, my friend rolled Snake Eyes, Senior Chain did for his kickoff event. So because of that, that means that now both teams have 1 bribe inducement that they have the rest of the game to actually use, which is going to be really helpful for my friend King Khalifa, because he has Helmet Wolf, which is represented by this character over here, who has a chainsaw. We're going to pretend that his chainsaw is a giant warhammer that he runs around and hits people with. And so because he'll be able to use that guy twice now, because he's got secret weapon. So if he does go away, he can use bribe inducement in order to make him go back on the field again, which is just good for my friend King Khalifa. Not so great for my friend Senior Chang, but we'll see exactly how it goes. So now that the kickoff event is over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for my friend King Khalifa. We'll be right back after his turn 1 activations. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 1 for my friend King Khalifa, and unfortunately for him, his turn was actually pretty short. First of all, this lineman over here managed to push back this source blocker back 1 space and also fall through exactly the same time. However, though, disaster struck when bodyguard player number 5, Gosbert Bear, tried to throw a block directly into player number 1, source block number 1, Beef Supreme from the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Now, unfortunately, they both got both player down results. They both go down, crash to the ground. The armor does get penetrated. Beef Supreme is perfectly fine. But Gosbert Bear, on the other hand, though, his armor is cracked. It's because he rolls a casualty on that one, ends up being badly hurt. So because he will miss out the rest of the game for the remainder of this game. He will make a full recovery at the end of it, though. But right off the bat, first blood goes directly towards the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. At the same time, my friend King Khalifa is playing at an handicap. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom, turn number 1 for my friend Senior Chang and the Lizardmen. So we're now at the bottom of turn number 1 for my friend Senior Chang, as well as his Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. And as you can see on the pitch, quite a bit of dramatic things have happened. First of all, he just kind of goes on the offense on this one, just going up forward and marking several players. He actually managed to blitz Helmut Wolf over here, managed to knock him out with a stun result. So because the Helmut Wolf is now on the ground and is currently bleeding out and currently stunned, done by source block number 2. What this does, of course, allows these two skinks to move through this little gap here, leaving over Helmut Wolf and actually making their way directly towards the ball to put some pressure directly onto these throwers as well. So things are looking pretty good so far for my friend Senior Chang. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 from our friend King Khalifa. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 from my friend King Khalifa. And at first, he was doing pretty good. Managed to push through the line of scrimmage over here, making this giant gap right here in the middle. End up seeing one of his throwers, Axel Utenbach, I believe, running directly to that center there. While Leo Cottonbach, which is his other thrower, actually runs up and actually tries to catch the ball and throws it directly towards the other thrower. However, player number 12, Baja Blast, the little chameleon scheme, used his on-the-ball ability in order to actually get in the path. Not only did he manage to deflect the ball, but he also managed to catch it as well, getting an interception. So because he is currently in possession of the ball and also earned himself 2 star player points at the same time. And this caused immediate turnover for the bottom of number 2 for our friend Senior Chang. So that takes a look at the bottom number 2 from our friend Senior Chang and the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. And touchdown number 1 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. So let's talk about what ended up happening. So first of all, player number 2, Caserito, commits a foul action against Helmut Wolf. Not only does he manage to punch through Helmut Wolf's armor as well, but also caused a casualty, putting it badly hurt on him. So because Helmut Wolf will no longer be participating in the rest of this battle report, so he is currently out of commission. Got rid of that secret weapon chainsaw wielding guy very quickly. At the same time, also kept Caserito from being thrown out of the game by using his bribe attempts. So because of that, Caserito is still in the game. Now the next big thing that took place, of course, was player number 7, skeek number 7, Crunchy Taco. Crunchy Taco moved up his normal moon allowance directly towards the end zone, followed quickly by Baja Blast, who moved up his normal moon allowance, did a short pass real quick directly to him, lands the cat throw and the catch perfectly, scoring the very first touchdown for the game. So that being said, my friends are going to re-rack real quick. I'll be right back for kickoff. So now we're back for kickoff. Once again, my friend King Khalifa will be taking the offense on this one. This time going for type of a heavy flank offense this time. While my friend Senior Chang decides to look at this column defense he has going on because it's been working out so well for him. So let's talk about what ended up happening for the kickoff. So first of all, the ball did scatter all the way back to the end zone, so it ended up being a safety. So because of that, this player over here, I believe his name is Leo Utenbach, Axel Kramer, I'm sorry, there's his name. He actually managed to get possession of the ball, so because of that, he will start off in possession of it. At the same time, the kickoff event was a 12, which was a pitch invasion, which means that both my friends had to roll a d6 and add their fan factors to it. My friend Senior Chang has a fan factor of 7. My friend King Khalifa has a fan factor of 6. King Khalifa lost the roll-off, so because that 2 of his randomly chosen players were actually go face down, which ends up being one of his linemen over here, as well as one of his blitzers over here at the top. So kind of a handicap at the first start of the turn. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3 for my friend King Khalifa and the Bogenhafen Barons. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 3 for my friend King Khalifa. And as you can see, some dramatic things have taken place on the pitch over here. First of all, it does manage to push through the line over here in the line of scrimmage, manage to scatter a bunch of these Saurus blockers, as well as one of the Crocs score over as well. Now, Doge the Pillager does try to commit a foul directly against the Croc score, fails to do so, and gets caught by the ref. But it doesn't matter, though, because my friend King Khalifa decided to burn up his last bribe anyways, so he's perfectly fine, still allowed to be on the pitch. Meanwhile, by doing this, it kind of made a hole right here in the line of scrimmage, which allows these players to actually kind of slip through, which is a hallmark, classic move of a heavy flank deployment area. So as you can see over here now, the players moved in with possession of the ball, moving directly to this area, trying to exploit this gap, and that pretty much makes it King Khalifa's turn for this one. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for our friend Senior Chang. So that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for my friend Senior Chang and the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. And as you can see, some dramatic things have occurred on the tabletop. So let's talk what ended up happening first. So Crunchwrap, this source over here, decides to do a blitz action, weaving his way through the line of scrimmage and going directly into Leo Utenbach. Axel Kramer. Managed to nail that guy with the blitz, causing the ball to bounce over right in front of this lineman over here. Now, what ended up happening from there is that play number 7, Crunchy Taco, which is a skink, ran up and rushed forward 2 squares up all the way over here, and then Doritos Locos then moved up, managed to grab the ball, escape out of the tackle zone here, rush 2 squares, and throw it directly into Crunchy Taco. So that way Crunchy Taco is now in control of the ball and is making his way directly to the end zone. This source blocker over here from down over the wide zone is also moved in order to block him and protect him as well. Meanwhile, over here we have some pushes and shoves taking place, but perhaps the most important thing that took place was this block over here through a blocking action directly into one of the linemen. Managed to get a knockout was on her because both players got knocked down, and because he fell, it caused immediate turnover for the game. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for my friend King Khalifa. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 4 for my friend King Khalifa. Unfortunately, his turn was kind of short-lived. He does move a bunch of his players trying to catch up the skink, but unfortunately does not have enough squares of movement in order to try to do a blitz action directly on the skink. The most dramatic thing that took place, however, was this lineman player over here. He originally tries to escape out of the tackle zone of this Saurus blocker here to try to weave his way through to try to tackle. It was kind of a Hail Mary pass play in order to try to do that. Unfortunately, he failed his agility test the first time, so my friend King Khalifa does burn up one of his rerolls in order to make him try again. He does fail the second time. He stumbles, his armor is cracked. At the same time, he also goes to the knockout box as well. So that pretty much makes up turn number 4 for my friend King Khalifa. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 4 for my friend Senior Chang. So that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 4 for my friend Senior Chang, as well as the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. And touchdown number 2 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. So my friend Senior Chang activated play number 7, Crunchy Taco, his skink. This is also his first game as well. He moves his maximum allowance and goes directly into the end zone, scoring a second touchdown for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, and as well as 3 star player points as well. So that being said, we're going to take a quick break real quick, my friends, re-rack, and we'll be right back for kickoff. So now we're back for the kickoff. Right now the Lizardmen are in lead with 2-0 against the Bogenhafen Barons. As you can see, my friend Senior Chang is once again taking up his column defense that he did before. It's been working out for him pretty good so far, so he decides why mess with a good thing. Meanwhile, the Bogenhafen Barons are going to go with more of a traditional kind of lineup this time around, bringing a lot of their strength over to the line of scrimmage. Hopefully they can kind of break through and score a touchdown in this first half. In the end, the ball did scatter over here, and the result in the end was changing weather. My friends once again rolled for the weather table, ended up being perfect global weather. So it scattered again and landed directly in that square over there. So that being said, now that kickoff is over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 5 for my friend King Khalifa and the Bogenhafen Barons. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 5 for my friend King Khalifa, and as you can see, a lot of dramatic things have taken place on the pitch. First of all, he does manage to push back a couple of the players off the line of scrimmage and started entering the half of the Lizardmen as well, marking a lot of players in these 2 columns over here on both sides, as well with additional players on the source blocker for the most part. However, though, that kind of pretty much leaves this kind of avenue of approach over here open. So because of that, my friend King Khalifa decided to take the ball, run his throwers directly to this direction, and that pretty much ends up turn number 5 for my friend King Khalifa. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 5 for my friend Senior Chang. So that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 5 for my friend Senior Chang, as well as the Gwaka'Moli guards. And as you can see, a lot of dramatic things have happened. He took the offense for the most part, knocking over a lot of players on the defensive side for the line of scrimmage over here as well. And at the same time, moving up his chameleon skinks away from their back columns all the way up here to the top to kind of block this entry point and try to intercept any balls that are being thrown directly this way. So that's what's going on over here in this section. Now, unfortunately for my friend King Khalifa, he did lose one of his players. Sora's block number 5, Belgrande, threw a block directly into alignment, to bodyguard play number 11, Bart's Neckhawk. Managed to crack through his armor and put a casualty on him as well with a badly hurt injury. So because he will not be participating in the rest of the battle port. And so because another blood has been drawn by the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Since they've inflicted 3 casualties in this battle report, they will definitely get an additional league point for that. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 6, my friend King Khalifa and the Bogenhafen Barons. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 6 for my friend King Khalifa. And as you can see on the pitch, some dramatic things have occurred. So let's talk about what ended up happening first. So Dojer the Pillager throws a block directly into the Croxacor Big Gordita. Managed to crack his armor with a power result, and at the same time put a casualty on him too. And when he rolled it for the casualty, he rolled a 16, which means that Big Gordita was dead. Now, that would have been disastrous for my friend Senior Chang. However, though, he did spend money on an apothecary after his last game, so because he got to re-roll the death dice on this one, the casualty dice, and rolled up badly hurt instead. So instead of being killed, he was badly hurt, and because of the apothecary rules, instead of being not in the casualty box, he goes directly into reserves after getting an apothecary taking care of him. So of course, that's the one and only time that my friend Senior Chang will be able to use the apothecary for this game. But considering that this guy Big Ortita is 180,000 gold pieces, it seems like it was money well spent, and so because of that, he is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, however, though, through a couple of the blocks and pushes, this opened up a line of scrimmage right here in the center. So my friend King Cleaver decided to take his throwers from up here, and I'm slipped through the center line over here, trying to make their way directly to the end zone. Not really much is standing in their way, so they could pull it off if they're lucky. So with that being said, we go directly to bottom number 6, my friend Senior Chang. So that takes regularly to the bottom of turn number 6 from our friend Senior Chang. So let's talk about what ended up happening. As you can see, some dramatic things took place. For the most part, this player right here, Crunchwrap, this guy was the MVP in this round. He basically does, because he was basically the only player that wasn't marked, he runs a blitz action directly into this thrower, managed to knock him down with the power result, which caused the ball to bounce over one square over, right over here, over that edge of the football ring is located at. So because now the ball is opened up into play, what ended up happening is that my friend then sent in his chameleon skink, one of his skinks over here on the bottom side over here. After pushing back this player, the skink scurried around the wide zone over here, went directly over here. I believe that character's name is Crunchwrap, I believe, or is it... I forgot which skink is. I think it's skink number 10 is what ended up happening. So anyways, he's over here. So what ended up happening is that Doritos Locos, this little chameleon skink over here, from this position over here, weaves his way through directly to pick up the ball, manages to scalp some tackle zones, move up, and then throw a short pass directly to him, and that skink caught the ball. Now, meanwhile, up here on the top, managed to push back a couple of players, which allowed these chameleon skink and this normal skink to slip through the line of scrimmage as well. So now all 4 players are making their way directly to the end zone. And that pretty much makes up turn number 6 for my friend Senior Chang. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 7 for my friend King Khalifa and the Bogenhafen Barons. So that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 7 from our friend King Khalifa, and unfortunately, it was a pretty short-lived turn. What ends up happening is that this lineman that was over here, who as you can see right now is in the knockout box, he tried to escape the tackle zone from the Soros blocker to try to intercept that little skink, but unfortunately, though he failed his agility test, my friend King Khalifa does not have any more rerolls, so because I couldn't reroll it, to make matters worse, his armor gets penetrated and at the same time he knocks himself out, so he's currently in the knockout box. So that caused immediate turnover at the bottom of turn number 7 from our friend Senior Chang. So we'll be right back after this. So that takes regular bottom of turn number 7 from our friend Senior Chang, as well as the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. And touchdown number 3 with Soft Taco, skink player number 11, managed to make it directly to the end zone. Now, before he actually made it to the end zone, my friend King Khalifa, my friend Senior Chang did throw a couple of blocks in to try to take out as many players as possible. Managed to put into stem results on a couple of guys, managed to push a couple of guys back. But probably the most dramatic thing was that this lineman, player number 3, got pushed directly into the crowd and suffered a casualty with a badly hurt, I believe. No, sorry, not badly hurt. Seriously hurt, I believe is the name of the injury. That's basically where you'll miss out his next game because he goes directly into recovery. So because of my friend King Khalifa is now losing 5 players on his team, and it looks really bad as well, with a 3-0 lead right now for the Lizardmen. So because of that, my friends decided to take a knee for turn number 8 because no one of them believe they can make another touchdown within that turn. So that takes us directly to the second half. So we'll be right back when my friends set up their teams for the second half of the game. We'll be right back after this. So now we're back for the second half of the game. As you can see, both the teams have been set up as well. The Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators are currently in the lead with 3 touchdowns versus 0. So my friend Senior Chang will definitely be getting 2 league points already, causing 3 or more casualties as well as scoring at least 3 touchdowns. As you can see, the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators will be receiving in the second half of the game, while my friend the King Khalifa as well as the Bogenhafen Barons will be playing defensively the first half of the game. Now the ball did bounce and scatter over here, right next to almost right in the middle of the field between these 2 chameleon skinks. However, once again, pitch invasion was actually rolled in this one, and my friends roll their d6s and combine their fan factors for the total score. My friend Senior Chang won the roll-off, so because that D3 players from the Bogenhafen Barons go get stunned. Unfortunately, Doja the Pillager, which is the ogre, he goes crashing to the ground, as well as one of these linemen. So because of that, things are not looking too good for my friend King Khalifa, especially since he only has almost a little more than half a team left to play the rest of this game. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for my friend Senior Chang and the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the second half of the game, and as you can see on the pitch, a lot of dramatic things ended up happening. So first of all, the Bogenhafen Barons were just pretty much unable to stop the sledgehammer might of the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. They pretty much went on the offensive, punching right through the main line of scrimmage as well, pushing a couple of characters down, also knocking out a couple. Big Gortiza managed to put one of the female linemen directly into the casualty box with a badly hurt result, also earning himself 2 star player points as well. at the same time marking players up here. Meanwhile, with these guys out of the way, allow these two skinks to slip through the line, making their way directly towards the end zone, with Doritos Locos, the chameleon skink right behind them, and then finally this new little skink, chameleon skink, Baja Blast. He swoops in, picks the ball, rushes forward twice, and is going for this main gap, heading directly towards the end zone. And that pretty much makes up turn number 1 for our friend Senior Chang. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom turn number 1 for my friend King Khalifa. So now we're back for the bottom of turn number 1 for my friend King Khalifa. Unfortunately for him, it is pretty much a short-lived turn. So let's talk about what ended up happening. So a couple of his guys were stunned earlier, do roll around to go face back up again. However, though, a lot of his guys are being marked. So this female player over here, I believe her name is Rose Tappet is her name. She pulls a blitz action all the way up directly from the wide zone coast directly into the skink. All she does manage to do though is manage to push him down 1 square, so that's really about it. Meanwhile, over this guy, Axel Kramer actually managed to escape the tackle zone out of here, but had to use one of his re-rolls in order to escape that tackle zone. Came over here and skirted down over here in order to mark this player over here, so that way they can interfere with any passing or any rushing that might be happening. Now, unfortunately for my friend King Khalifa, he did try to move this player out of the way of this tackle zone, but unfortunately failed his agility test. So because he goes crash to the ground, his armor does get penetrated, and he is stunned, so he's laying on the ground face down, and that caused immediate turnover for my friend King Khalifa. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of the turn, top of turn number 2 for my friend Senior Chang, and we'll be right back after this. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the second half for my friend Senior Chang and the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, and touchdown number 4 for the Lizardmen. So let's talk about what ended up happening. So first of all, what ended up happening is that my friend decided to actually clear out a couple of guys, knocking a couple of people over, also stunning a couple more people, and probably the biggest one was when Big Gordita uses Mighty Blow skill in order to put a foul directly against Doja the Pillager. Rolled an 11, which was a 5 and a 6, with that +1 magic crack through his armor and puts a badly hurt result on him instead. It's because that Doja the Pillager is now out for the rest of the game. Meanwhile, after these guys move through and swarm through a couple more people, what ended up happening is that Doritos Locos actually made all the way directly to the end zone by rushing forward twice. He did have to re-roll one of his re-rolls in order to make it. And then from there, of course, Baja Blast, the other chameleon skink, moves up his movement axle moon allowance, rushes twice and throws the ball, throws an accurate pass with a 6 and managed to get caught with another 6 and scoring the 4th and final touchdown for this team. And the reason why is because, as you can imagine, with most of the players out of action right now for my friend King Khalifa, he decides to call the game. It's the very last game in the New World Conference. He doesn't want to lose any more players than he already has at this point, and so because of that, he kind of concedes the game. Now, granted, that does mean he loses any winnings and it goes directly towards the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, but he's willing to accept that loss. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that takes directly to the end of the game, with the Lizardmen of the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators going on to the Blood Bowl to fight against the shambling undead of the Champions of Death. We're going to go directly to the post game because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, now it's time for the after action report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the after action report for Tales of the Tackle Zone Season 2, battle report number 32. This was the final game of the New World Conference with the New World Conference Championship. So let's talk about the losing team first of all. So my buddy King Khalifa with his Bogenhafen Barons did lose the game. For injuries, several members of his team were badly hurt, which means they made full recoveries. Those players are Blitzer number 4, Sigrid Verts, Bodyguard number 5, Gospert Bear, Lineman number 8, Jenna Adelhoff, Bodyguard player number 11, Bart Nitzhawk, as well as star player number 0, Helmut Wolf. Now, for one member of their team, though, they did suffer seriously hurt, so because they will miss out the next game, and that was lineman number 3, Leopold Schwalb. But since this is the very last game of the season for the New World Conference, it doesn't really matter because they'll be able to play again in the next game. For advancements, no members of this team actually advanced at this time, and the reason why is because they didn't earn any MVPs for conceding the game early. They also didn't lose any dedicated fans, so they still have a dedicated fan base of 4, and they did manage to score 30,000 gold pieces, but they had to forfeit that to the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators for conceding the game. Now for recruitment, they didn't actually recruit anybody at this time nor purchase any inducements. They did manage to earn 1 league point though from not scoring a single touchdown, which brings their grand total to 15 league points in total. Their new record now is at 3 wins and 3 losses, and their team value is still at 1,450 points. So let's go ahead and talk about the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, the Lizardmen team played by my friend Senior Chang, who are also the New World Conference champions. Having become the champions of the New World Conference, they will now go on to their very final game of our Blood Bowl League at the Blood Bowl, fighting against the champions of death of the Shambling Undead, played by my little sister Shade. So let's talk about the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators real quick. For injuries, there were no injuries actually for any of the players at this time. However, a lot of people on this team did level up. So Sora's block number 1, Beef Supreme, chose the block skill, earning 20,000 gold pieces in value. Sora's block number 2, Quesaria, did exactly the same thing. Skink player number 7, Crunchy Taco, chose the Sure Feet skill that increased their value by 20,000 gold pieces, while Chameleon Skink number 8, Doritos Locos, rolled the Diving Catch skill and also earned 10,000 gold pieces to their value. Now Skink number 10 as well as Skink number 11, both of those guys, Skink number 10, Cinnabite, rolled to get their skill. They got the Sprint skill, increasing their value by 10,000 gold pieces, while Skink number 11, Soft Taco, chose the Sprint skill and managed to earn 20,000 gold pieces that way. Now Chameleon Skink number 12, Baja Blast, rolled MVP on this one and chose the Catch skill and earned 20,000 gold pieces. And Croxagore player number X, Big Gordita, also got the second MVP on this one because when your opponent concedes, you double up on MVPs for the winners. And he rolled the Guard skill, randomly rolled that one, and also increased his value by 10,000 gold pieces as well. Now for the dedicated fan base, the Senior Chang rolled a 6, so because it does increase his dedicated fan base from 4 to 5 in total, he managed to score 75,000 gold pieces from winning the game, as well as 30,000 gold pieces from the Bogenhafen Barons for conceding the game, giving a grand total of 105,000 gold pieces. He didn't recruit anybody, but for his inducements, he spent 100,000 gold pieces for extra training, temporarily earning 1 reroll for the next game in both halves, which is kind of important because he's going on to the Blood Bowl, so pretty smart move there. He then places remaining 5,000 gold pieces into his treasury. Now for his league points, he scored 1 league point for scoring 4 touchdowns in this game, as well as another league point for causing 6 casualties in this game. And he also earned 3 league points for winning the game, giving him a grand total of 20 league points in total. His new record now is at 4 wins and 2 losses, and his new team value is 1,750 points. And he will be moving on to the championship game, the finale for our Season 2, which will be at the Blood Bowl. So once again, tune in next week, you guys, to see that championship game. That will be fought between the Lizardmen of the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators versus the champions of death of the Shambling Undead. Until then, I will stay classy, guys. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe in the comment box down below. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. I'll see you guys next week. Stay classy and peace out.